Hello all, let's have a detailed discussion on some of the questions on economics asked in UPSC. So the question is, the changing composition of the export trade is, not is, it should be was, because we are here discussing the question of during 1990s. So was indicative of structural transformation of Indian economy in the favor of modernization. The best indicator of the trend was. So after new economic policy, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization, announced in 1991, what effects happened and what modernization took place in Indian economy, it is asking, and what was the indicator of that modernization. Option is relative rise in the share of petroleum products in exports, decline in the share of agricultural products in exports, constant share of ores and minerals in exports, and D is increase in the share of manufactured products in exports. So the correct answer will be option D, that is after new economic policy and liberalization, privatization and globalization, also called Rao-Manmohan model, Manmohan model, because Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister and Manmohan Singh was the Finance Minister, and both of these legends, they proposed the new economic policy. This is called Rao-Manmohan model. After 1990s crisis of balance of payment crisis, or you can say subprime lending crisis, we can say subprime lending crisis in India. We can also say it as the the crisis was, or we can say that forex exchange crisis also, we can call it forex exchange crisis, because it was majorly a balance of payment crisis, forex exchange crisis. So due to this crisis, new economic policy was launched, new Exim policy. Under this many reforms were done. New Exim policy came in 1992. So all this happened, liberalization, privatization and globalization happened. Many structural and stabilization measures were taken, and due to this the modernization of Indian economy started happening, and the indicator of that modernization was that there was increase in the share of manufactured products from India to outside, and this was a good indicator. So the answer will be option D. Now let's come to the next question. The next question is, which of the following were aims behind setting up of World Trade Organization? So we know that World Trade Organization is a Geneva based, so its headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland, headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. It is international or World Trade Facilitation Agency, World Trade Regulatory Mechanism or Agency, trade regulator, and it was established in 1995. India was one of the founding members of WTO. India was a founding member of WTO because India had also signed the charter to create WTO. Even WTO's predecessor GATT, General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, that was established in 1948 out of Bretton Woods Conference. So GATT was the predecessor of WTO. It was established in 1948 through Bretton Woods Conference, and WTO replaced GATT in 1995. And the charter of the WTO was drafted by a very well-known Nobel laureate, Indian economist, Professor Amartya Sen. So Professor Amartya Sen had drafted Amartya Sen had drafted the Charter of WTO. He was also very instrumental in one of the members of the drafting committee of Charter of WTO. And these are some nitty-gritty informations about WTO that you should remember. Now let's come to the main topic, that what was the aim behind establishing WTO. First, it is saying promotion of free trade and resource flow across the countries. Second is protection of intellectual property rights. Third is managing balance of trade between different countries. Fourth is promotion of trade between the former East Bloc and Western world. All the four statements are correct, so the correct answer will be all of the above are correct. Now let's come to the next question. The next question is, the emerging trading blocs in the world such as NAFTA and the like are expected to. NAFTA, ASEAN, all these you can say emerging trading blocs are expected to what? Act as constrictions in free trade on the lines laid down by WTO, promote free trade on the lines laid down by WTO, permit transfer of technologies between member countries, and promote trade in agricultural commodity between countries of North and South. The correct answer to this question will be B. That is, these are the forums, these are the you can say trading blocs that will promote free trade on the lines laid down by WTO, the international trade regulatory mechanism. So this is the answer. Now let's come to the next question. Next question is, which one of the important goals of the economic liberalization policy was to achieve full convertibility? That is, one of the important goals of economic liberalization policy was to achieve full convertibility of Indian rupees. This was being advocated because first, convertibility of rupee was to stabilize its exchange rate value against major currencies of the world. Second, it will attract more foreign capital inflow in India. Third, it will help promote exports. And fourth, it will help India secure loans from world financial markets on attractive terms. So the correct answer to this question will be, the convertibility of rupee was to stabilize its exchange rate or value against major currencies in the world. So the A is the correct answer, that the full convertibility of rupee was initiated, especially current account was made fully convertible. Because at that time, after the 1990s crisis, Indian rupee, the exchange rate of Indian rupee was very volatile. It was very volatile. Indian rupee was losing its value very fast in international market. The value of Indian rupee was very low, while the Indian government was not ready to accept that international value, and in the Indian market it kept the rupee value very high, and this led to a very big mismatch, and exporters, even importers, all these people were losing somewhat. Especially exporters were losing, and this was the thing, and this was the reason why in the new economic policy, two types of reforms were announced. First, stabilization measures, and second, structural measures. We will talk about these things in next questions also, some of the next questions also, but let me here in brief tell you that in stabilization measures, to stabilize the imbalances or the friction in economy, three things were done. First, rupee was devalued. So the value of rupee was devalued. First thing. Second, to compensate the losses of exporters, cash compensatory scheme was started. Third, Third, many strict laws, many licenses were started to be given freely. Licenses were started to be given freely. So this was the thing. And then later many structural reforms happened. Structural reforms in financial sector, in taxation sector, in indirect taxation sector, and all these things. So this was the thing. And current account was made fully convertible. Current account was made fully convertible. We will talk about this in the next one of the next questions also. Now let's come to the next. The next question is, which one of the following is correct regarding stabilization and structural adjustments as two components of new economic policy adopted in 1992? So as I told that new economic policy was adopted in 1992 after 1991 balance of payment crisis. So, and according to this, many measures were taken. First, liberalization, privatization and globalization, that is really called new economic policy, was started. Second thing, it was then that many stabilization measures were taken. Stabilization measures, for example, as I told you in the last question itself, for example, cash compensatory scheme was launched. Rupee was devalued. The value of rupee was devalued. Next, licenses were started to be given freely. Licenses were started to be given freely. So these were the stabilization measures. Then there were structural measures also taken over a period of time, and this led to first generation economic reform, though there is no such classification like first generation or second generation economic reform, because economic reforms are a continuous process, so they cannot be categorized. But yes, we say that first generation economic reforms in 1998 itself, and then second generation economic reforms in 1991 itself. Then second generation economic reforms were started later in after onwards, 1998 onwards. 1998 onwards. So this was the thing. As per the structural measures, new exim policy was announced. New export-import policy was announced. Market was started to be open LPG, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization strategy was adopted, because these structural measures were taken on the initiative of IMF, because IMF has given a bailout to Government of India. So IMF has bailed out Government of India. In return, it had pushed Indian government to go for economic reforms, broad economic reforms, and reforms in banking infrastructure, banking, financial sector were also proposed according to this new economic policy. So it is saying that stabilization, as I said, there were two measures, stabilization measures and structural measures. So it is saying that stabilization is a gradual multi-step process, while structural adjustment is a quick adaptive process. Second, structural adjustment is a gradual multi-step process, while stabilization is a quick adaptation process. Since both stabilization and structural adjustment are similar to each other and complementary and cannot be separated. Next is stabilization of mainly deals with a set of policies which are to be implemented by the central government, while structural adjustment is to be set in motion by state government. So the correct answer to this will be option B, that is structural adjustment is gradual multi-step process, while stabilization is a quick adaptation process to ease the problem in short term. So this is stabilization is a long-term policy, long-term strategy, while structural adjustment is a long-term strategy, while stabilization is a short-term strategy. So this was done. Under stabilization, cash compensatory scheme, rupee was devalued, licenses were given freely. These were the initiatives that were taken. Under structural measures, new vaccine policy, LPG infrastructure